Hey crafters, stampers, and DIYers. It's Kathy Case here with Spectacular Creations, and today we're going to start our beginner's card making series. I'm going to do a couple of videos on beginner card making. I've got a couple of new ladies that are just now starting out doing some cards, and I wanted to do a couple of videos to discuss how you start by doing some simple card making. And this one is all it is paper, ink, and stamps. So this features a new stamp set that will be available in my online store starting January the 3rd, and it is called Honey Bee, and it comes from our supplemental catalog that comes out, like I said, January the 3rd, and they're calling this the mini catalog, and I can't show you the inside of it yet, but I can show you the cover. And this is the cover, and there are, let's see how many pages of goodness, 75 pages. So this is the front, and this is the back. So the catalog has 75 pages of stamp sets, paper, embellishments, and the fun part about it is when you purchase anything from this catalog or the annual catalog, you earn rewards, and it's our celebration time of the year. And if you order $50 or more, you get to pick a freebie from this celebration catalog. So if you have not received a catalog from me and want this catalog, just comment below and I will send you one. And like I said, order from here or the annual catalog, $50. You get to order something from the celebration and receive that free. So with my beginner card series, I am going to show you how to use just simple paper and ink and stamp sets and make a simple card. And stay tuned. I will be updating this card series. It'll get a little bit more technique oriented per each video. So I've already shot the second video, and it will be coming tomorrow, and it will show you how to make envelopes for your cards with an envelope punch board. So let's get started. So what you'll need is either a work mat or I'm trying to find my stamping paper. I don't see it right away, but there is a stamping pad that is also, I see it, from Stampin' Up! That I use a lot. And it will be linked in the supply list. And it's just a paper pad that has measurements, grid marks on there. And it will be linked in the supply list in the description of this video. So things you will need, we'll go over that first. You will need your a work mat or a stamp pad, and of course you will need paper. And what this is half of an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and I have just chosen white. You will need a sheet of that. You will need stamp blocks. You will need a bone folder. Of course, you will need inks of your choice. Today I have chosen Pineapple Punch, and I use several blacks, and in a later video we'll go through why we have different blacks. We have Memento black, and then I use a VersaFine. We're going to use Memento today. You will need, of course, your stamp pad of choice, and stay with me till the end of the video, and I have got some supplemental products that's in the new Celebrations catalog that go with this stamp set. And of course you will need a stamping trimmer, or a paper trimmer. And then I also want to tell you about the stamp cleaner, because once you use your stamp, you'll also want to clean your stamps, and we'll also go over that in another video. So set all this aside for now and talk about the paper. A normal size or regular size card, which is this size here, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you can orient it in the portrait position, which is this way, or you can orient it in the landscape fold like this, where it folds open like this, and then the portrait opens like this. So we're going to talk about portrait today. So you will need your paper. And this is 8 1/2 by 11, and it's really simple. All you have to do with this one piece of paper is cut it in half, and you will get 2 cards from it. So you take your paper trimmer and you place it in your paper trimmer, and you're going to cut the 11-inch side up towards your paper trimmer, at the top of your paper trimmer, and you're just going to cut it in half. So half of 11 is 5 1/2. So you take your cutter blade and just pull it down, and you have 2 card bases to make 2 cards. So what I do is take my paper, and after I've cut it, I put it at the top of my paper cutter, and I just meet the corners up and do a finger press, and then take my bone folder and crease it real good. And that is the start of your card base. So you also have another card base to make another card with. So to do the landscape portion, you would just turn it and stamp this way. There's also a top folding card, and you just do the opposite. Normally we would cut the 11-inch side. Now we're going to cut the 8 1/2-inch side, and it's the same size. It's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, but you're going to do the opposite. You're not going to cut the 5 1/2. You're going to cut the 4 1/4. So you place your paper at the top of your paper trimmer at 4 1/4, and you just use your paper trimmer and cut this one. And you want to make sure your paper is butted all the way up to the edge, to this bumper here, so you get a nice straight cut. So then you cut and then use your bumper here to fold. Meet your corners up. Do a finger press. Get your bone folder and make a good crease. So this is another card fold where it flips up this way, or you can flip it this way, and I'll show you the difference. They are the same size, but they're different. This one is up and down, and this one is side to side. So that is your basic card bases. So we're going to work with this style today, and like I said, you just want to give your card base a good press so it will lay flat. And I'm going to move this paper pad, and this is very helpful when you go to make sure your paper is completely straight to stamp. But since it's white on white, I'm going to put it on my mat here so you can see it a little bit better. So what I do is I use these lines to line my paper up. That way when I go to stamp, it'll be straight. So we're just going to stamp the front side, and I open it to make sure that there's no bulkiness in the way. So you take your stamp set. This one is already prepared. When it comes, this is called a clean mount stamp. When it comes, these little stickers are not on the back already. You have to place those. But I'm going to show that in another video. So this stamp set is already prepared. So we have the foam here. So we will not need to use a cushioned pad to help us stamp. It's already got the pad with it. So we're going to take our stamp set and we're going to place it on a couple of blocks. And I have used the bumblebee, the small bumblebee out of this stamp set, and we're just going to place it on our block. And you can use the same block and just remove them off the block as you go. But when I do lots of stamps, I get out all the blocks that I have. But if you only have one, that's fine. You can just take them off as you go. So I am going to arrange my stamps on my block and get them going to where they're already ready to go, and make sure they're on there really good. Now this one I did use both sides of the stamp. That's another option. So this is a little flower, and one goes one way and the other one goes the other way. So what I did is I just turned the stamp over and placed it on the opposite side like that. So when you go to stamp, you can stamp this side, flip it over, and stamp that side. And I've offset them a little bit so I can see through the block to see where on the paper that's going to be positioned. And then I used this one. Like I said, I get all my blocks set up that I'm going to, all my stamps set up on blocks that I'm going to use. That way I'm ready to go. And Stampin' Up! Does carry smaller blocks, like there would be a smaller block for this to fit on, but it doesn't matter if you only have one or just a few, just use what you have. So the next thing I want to do is position my paper where it is lined up real nice and straight on the grid. And we're going to use the beehive stamp first. And we're going to open our pineapple punch. This is our new design stamp pad. The easiest way is to put your thumbs up here and pop it open first, and then it opens like a compact. And then you just slide it. So you want to take your stamp set and you just want to gently tap your stamp on your ink pad up and down a couple of times, then turn it over and see if it's all inked up very well. And if you notice, there's no ink here in the center, and then there's another spot here, so that means that my stamp pad is not completely inked up. So you want to check that before you take the stamp to the paper. So just lightly tap again and check. And what that means is I haven't firmly put this block, the stamp set, on that block. There's like an air bubble underneath it. So you just want to keep stamping till it is completely inked up and it looks completely inked up. And then figure out where you want your focal point to be on your paper, and then just lightly put your stamp on your paper and just a little firm pressure. You don't want to rock your stamp or move your block because it could distort your image. And just let it sit there for a minute. Let the paper accept the ink. So just let it sit there for a minute and pull up. So our next stamp is this one, and this one is a little different. Normally you could just put it down, but what I like to do is just fit my stamp where I want it to be, and then take my block and press and pick it up. Then we're going to open our black ink and tap, 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 and then check it and make sure that we have good coverage. It looks good. And then you want to get above your stamp and make sure it's in good position, and then just stamp. Don't rock your block, and just let the paper accept the ink for a few seconds and pull straight up. And I'll bring this a little closer so you can see. It says, "Wishing you sunshine and happiness." So we're through with those two stamp sets, and the next thing we're going to do is use our bees. So we're going to find our bee stamp, our bee image, which I've already put on block, and we're going to just lightly tap. And this is a distinctive stamp, so when you look at it, there's a little bit of shading in the wings, so it doesn't look like it's completely covered, but it is. It's just the way that stamp is, and the stamp sets are marked distinctive or not. So we can just stamp our bee wherever you want it. Just like that. So in this particular example, we have the little hello in the corner. And one tip that I wanted to tell you about beginning stamping is that the rule of thumb is our eyes like to see things in odd numbers. So that's why I only did 3 bees. So the eyes, this is pleasing to the eye. So we're going to take our hello stamp and we're going to tap it very gently. Turn it over, make sure it looks completely inked. And then stamp our little hello in the corner, not rocking our stamp, letting the paper accept the ink. And we've got it stamped. So now the front card is done. And we're going to turn it over and we're going to stamp the inside. Our inside sentiment says, "Thinking of you, sweet friend." And with my sample, I did that in black. So you just tap, tap, tap. Turn it over, make sure it's completely covered. Looks good, nice and glossy. That way you know that that part is inked. You're going to use your grid paper or your mat and make sure you've got your card paper straight. And stamp as straight as you can in the center. And hold it for just a second and pull up. And I always get in a good habit of closing my ink back up when I'm finished with it, so I don't put my fingers in it or drop something in there. So now we're going to take our flower stamped image, and this one goes on this side, then we flip it over and we can stamp that one on that side. So you want to tap, tap, tap. Check your stamp, make sure it's inked up very well. Find the place where you want your image to be, and a light pressure. Hold for just a minute and bring up. Then you can use the other stamped image, which goes the opposite direction, and good even distance, and it doesn't have to be completely straight across from the other image. And just bring it up. And that's your easy card making stamp, paper, and ink only. And your card is done. It's ready to put in an envelope or hand deliver to who this special person is. Now on the back, I have a stamp that I use that is custom made for me, and there are several companies that you can purchase these stamps from. If you're interested in that, just ask me in the comments and I'll let you know what company that I used. And this is a custom stamp made specially for me. You can either write handcrafted by in your name, but I'll show you what my stamp says. And it says handmade by Kathy Case, and then it has my website, spectacularcreations.com. So you want to make sure you sign the back of your card, and it's ready to go. So that is basic card making for anyone that is thinking about starting to stamp. This is a really cute stamp set to start with. Like I said, it is available on January the 3rd, and I will have that link to the catalog on my blog, which is spectacularcreations.com. It'll be in the menu under Catalogs tab. So that is the 2 cards that I have made with this stamp set. So I want to show you what else that goes with this honeybee stamp set. It comes with these detailed dies, and it's called detailed bee dies, and this will also be in a later video that I'm going to upload for probably advanced card making series. We're going to stick with basic for a while, but these use a die cutting machine, and what they do is you take your piece of paper or whatever it is that you're going to cut out, like this die here will cut out the beehive. So you can stamp it and run that stamped image through a die cutter machine, and it will cut this out, and you can make it a 3D card. But we're going to go through that at a later date. So we do have dies with this set that helps us cut out, and usually those dies will cut out an image on the designer series paper. So this is a free product. I'm going to move my camera up a little bit so we can get all of this paper image in here. If you order the stamp set and the dies, I think maybe throw in a bottle of Tombow glue or some snail adhesive, you'll be able to get this paper for free. So that's what I want to show you now is the paper. And I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. The color scheme for this paper is white, black, and gold. So you can already see the shiny part of this paper. So you've got an A side and you've got a B side. So we've got bees and gold, and then we've got black and white stripes. You get 2 sheets of those. Then we've got the honeycomb, which is white and gold. And then the back side is that print. And then we've got some black and gold and just some checks on the other side. And then we've got bees in white and gold. And then looks hexagons on the other side. And then we've got black and gold stripes with the flower stamp that we used in white and black. 2 sheets of that. Then we've got some, looks like dash marks in white and gold, and then some larger flowers on the back. So that's the designer series paper that you will get for free when you order from the mini catalog that comes out on January the 3rd. So look for that link as well under catalogs in my on my blog on my under the catalogs tab. So I hope you enjoyed this beginner's card video, and I hope you stick with me and enjoy the card making series if you're a new card maker. So if you stumbled across my website or my YouTube channel and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and it'll notify you when I upload new content. And if I can help you with any of your card making supplies through Stampin' Up, just visit my blog and shop my store. I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.